Ladies and gentlemen, here is 3 count commentaries. We're going to be watching Bash at the Beach 2000. I don't really want to watch this show, but you, the people, voted for it, so I'll watch it. I don't have no problem with that. So we're going to start the show probably about 5 or 6 minutes. Let's give us about 5 or 6 minutes to let people roll in, and then we'll get started. Is the wind in the audio? I still have the fan on. I just don't have it pointed at me. So hopefully it's not too bad in terms of the amount of wind whistling in the background. As a matter of fact, let me check that. I always have to check my audio anyway. Today is actually a good day to do a watch along. I'm kind of burned out on wrestling though. I gotta agree. I gotta tell you guys, kind of burned out. But it's okay. Wait a minute, what's happening here? Why is there not a? Oh, there it is. Okay. Why is there not? Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. The audio is kind of shit. There not? The audio is kind of bad. Sorry. I don't know what more to do. I got as best I could. So again, in about 5 minutes, we're going to start the show, Bash at the Beach 2000. AJ3, how are you doing? Anybody else who has come in the last few seconds, how are you? I don't know if there will be a pop culture stream this weekend. I project that there will be because I do want to talk about Superman. I also want to talk a lot about the Clips new album. There's a lot of things I want to discuss. There's actually some stuff to talk about in terms of pop culture this week. So it might be earlier than usual instead of later. It depends. It depends on how my Saturday goes. And of course, Slammiversary is on Sunday, and I will be watching that. So you guys don't have to worry about me jumping up on you on a Sunday. I cannot find the show. I saw Nicki Minaj. She was on there arguing with SZA and the rest of these people. She's a little old for that, and quite stupid actually. Like the stupid stuff that they're arguing about is, well, it's actually over several millions of dollars. So maybe it's more important than I'm giving it credit for. But this is one of those things where it seemed like she didn't really know what was going on in her own contracts or what was going on in her own business. She was just so self-absorbed that she kind of missed everything. We're going to give it a few more minutes, and then we're going to get started. Try to find a nice round number, so maybe 8:10. So that's another 3 minutes, and then we'll get started. I've been reading 2 books. There's a gigantic book sale happening this weekend on Sunday. It's going to be early in the day too, so I'm going to get to go there and do that. I've found the joy of making smoothies at home. I've also learned how much of a pain in the ass mangoes can be. So you're going to probably hear me talk about smoothies a lot. I'm becoming a smoothie guy. Yeah. Once now that I learn how to make them and like really make them, like good at them, yeah, we're about to become smoothie guys over here. So I'm about to get real annoying with it. I think I'm not gonna make it my whole personality though. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm still gonna be me. I'm gonna give you about 2 more minutes, and then we're gonna get this thing rolling. This is a Vince Russo production, so I'm just I once again did not look at the card. I've seen this show 100 times. I don't remember anything on it outside of the Booker T stuff. So I'll be going in it. That's the wonderful thing about having a shitty memory. Actually have a pretty good memory. It's just that certain things I don't overload my brain with, and wrestling is one of them. So typically, I turn my brain off and I'm watching, especially watching Vince Russo era WCW. Vince Russo era anything, you don't put too much thought into it. But one of the good things about having a limited space in my brain is I get to watch old shows like I've never seen them before, you know? And it's always more fun to watch things and look for something to talk about rather than just sitting back and absorbing the show. Now I want to actively have to look for something to talk about. So I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. And I completely understand why people watch these shows with like wrestling observers and stuff wide open. I watch them with friends and stuff like that. These shows are all more important and better with friends. So I actually enjoy the watch alongs. I just wish I didn't do them on Thursdays. Thursday is not a great day. It's not a good day. But I can't do it on the weekend now because I need a break from wrestling sometimes, man. And I try to make Saturdays and my wrestling free day. This is why I decided to do the pop culture stream on Saturdays, and then I got too busy on Saturdays and have some other stuff to do. I never got around to it. But then I've also been burnt out because of so much wrestling on TV this week. It's been the shits. But I'm in kind of avoiding everything that's unnecessary when it comes to wrestling. So we got about 30 seconds to get started. And then we'll be popping play on WCW Bash at the Beach 2000 or Season 7, Episode 7. How is it Season 7, Episode 7? There is not 7 episodes of Bash at the Beach. It should be Season 7, Episode 1, right? All right. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's get it started. Is that Ice Train? Oh, no, that's not Ice Train. I'm tripping. Wait, I think that is Ice Train. When was Ice Train the chauffeur for Ernest the Cat Miller? I'm pretty sure that's fucking Ice Train right there. I hate Ernest the Cat Miller. I hate him so much, dog. This fake James Brown shit he was on, I can't stand it. It's so annoying. Oh, it's a flute playing? Oh, hell no. Ninjas just popped up? Oh, man, this is top tier racism right here, my guy. Random whistling, random flute start playing, and then Japanese guys jumped out of nowhere to attack Ernest the Cat Miller, and now they doing blaxploitation shit. Where did the music come from? They were outside, so where did the music come from? The Young Dragons decided to jump Ernest the Cat Miller in the parking lot, and there was music playing. And of course, they didn't lay a finger on them because this is a blaxploitation movie. He kicked their asses. What on earth? Oh my God! Yeah, this is Vince Russo. Oh my Lord, have mercy. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, they were calling it sports entertainment too. It's dubbed. Well, clearly it's dubbed over because it was clearly a pre-taped segment. But it makes no sense for you to play music before they attack them. I don't need my damn thing to be so loud. It doesn't make sense for them to play music. Why are you playing music at all? You don't even need the dub music. And then they didn't even touch him. They grabbed him and then basically just held him in place. And then he still managed to kick their asses one shot apiece. You do that with jabronis, not guys you're actually going to have on your show. Hey, look, there's hot bitches. Girls and young women in tube tops are showing up to these wrestling shows. Remember those days where young women in tube tops showed up at a wrestling show and not old moms? The juice, baby. Oh, this is Filthy Animals. I didn't like this stable because I didn't like Rey not having a mask on. Who was this woman in Rey Mysterio carrying on her back? I don't remember seeing this broad before. The juice. Everybody loves Hoovy. Unfortunately, Hoovy just he got a case of the brain rot and he can never get it together. I mean, look at the crowd. The crowd is so different than the crowds you see today. College students, young men drinking beer in the front row, yelling, young hot broads and tube tops. Oh no, Disco being the white guy in the group. I can't stand this already. I want to know who this woman is. You says the Tigra from the Nitro Girls. Yeah, I don't remember Nitro. I don't remember the Nitro Girls at all. I mean, I remember they existed, but I don't remember them individually. Outside of the ones we see all the time anyway. The Hip Hop Inferno. Oh, that's character development, huh? Oh Lord. So Hoovy is wrestling, and here come the worst gimmick in wrestling. One of the worst gimmicks in wrestling history is Misfits in Action. Because Vince Russo thought the oddities was a good idea and decided he was going to do it all over again. Or you know, the DX thing. This is actually more of a DX oddities mix-up thing that he had going here. I told you Vince Russo he just does the same thing over and over again. So he decided that the Misfits in Action were going to be the oddities and make DX. So now you got this. She got gigantic boobs, and Van Hammer is jacked to the gills. And hey, Hugh Morris is kind of jacked too, though, out there. But neither one of those guys are wrestling right now. We got to watch Chavito in goddamn camouflage pants wrestle Hoovy. And you know, normally I'd be stoked to see a Juventud Guerrera match, even against Chavo Guerrero. But knowing all these weirdos are going to be hanging out around the ring, I'm just not a big fan of it. Hey, it's Little Nate. She's the referee. That referee outside the ring, the little red man right there, he is extremely pale. He's like one of Sheamus's ancestors. I mean, look at this guy. He don't even have eyebrows. What kind of Dracula vampire shit is this guy on here? What is his genetic code? Have mercy. They just bringing strippers to the ring. I don't know who this broad is. I'm pretty sure I know who her name is. It's not coming to me right now. It's Major Guns or something like that, right? Disco Inferno wearing a Kobe Bryant jersey. Isn't that sweet? That's him trying to be cool, but actually being corny at the same time. This is terrible stuff. Hey, he just pat Ray on the butt. What's happening? What's this mean? It was very sweet of Ray. I think he did an interview. I don't know how long ago it was, but he was talking about there's no good reason why Hoovy couldn't be where he is. I think it was actually several years ago he talked about, he gave Hoovy his credit. What's up, Dennis King, and everybody else who's come in since? We're in the middle of, well, it hasn't started yet, but Hoovy is about to wrestle Chavo Guerrero, and Chavo Guerrero's wearing camouflage pants because he's doing Misfits in Action, and nobody knows what to do with this guy. Mainly because he's Chavo Guerrero, and outside of being a Guerrero, he didn't got much going for him. Ooh, he's chopping the shit out of him. Ooh. Oh, an atomic drop. He didn't even sell the nuts. He just started moving around. Neither one of these guys are wearing wrestling gear, but they're both wearing elbow pads. Well, yeah, they're both wearing elbow pads. Typical attitude era. And nobody's wearing wrestling gear. And neither one of these guys is much bigger than Charles Robinson. They needed smaller refs. They were exposing the business. Oh, now Hoovy is selling the nuts. Oh, I'm sorry. Are the Filthy Animals supposed to be heels? Because I didn't recognize. I didn't get that from their entrance. At least Hoovy is trying to be a heel. I don't think Rey Mysterio was ever really a heel. They wrestling in chains and shit. What is going on here? Oh, I was talking about Hoovy. Yeah, Rey Mysterio did an interview where he was talking about Hoovy and how he thinks that Hoovy is just as talented as he is. And then there's tons of interviews of Conan talking about how Hoovy's a shithead and how they had to kick his ass and all kinds of stuff. Unfortunate. Of course, he sabotaged himself in WWF. He didn't get a second chance either, and there was no second chance for the Juice. It's very unfortunate. You'd think Vince would have forgave a guy for busting out a 450. But I guess Hoovy just can't get right. Outside of his one appearance on AEW, I don't hear that much about Hoovy anymore, which is unfortunate because he was one of my favorite guys when I was a youth. I wasn't watching WCW around this time either. I stopped watching WCW. I wasn't watching wrestling at all in 2000, to be quite honest. We being fair. Classic heel stuff here from Hoovy, begging off to create an opening. I mean, there's still old school structure even to this bullshit, right? They did the babyface shine so that Chavo could look good. It wasn't really all that effective. I don't think anybody cares about Chavo. But now we got the heat going, and Hoovy has got his dick in his face. Ay, 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 ay. Now Hoovy is a little too cocky. Chavo is about to take advantage, no doubt. Jesus. This is called bumping and feeding. Ooh, right into a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. That was pretty sweet. Deontay Belladonna says that Vince Russo killed WCW. My lord. I can tell you this, WCW in 99 is no good. And in 2000 is just as bad. I'm talking before he got there in 99 too, it wasn't no good. WCW is just, they had tough times, man. They were going through it. Now he just got him in an armbar. Again, they keep it. Ah, shit. I got gashes in my legs. This hurts. Tony Schiavone doing play-by-play on commentary as well. Virgo Rebel Penguin, how you doing? Hope all is well for everybody stopping by, even if you just stopped by for a few seconds. I appreciate it. We're in the middle of Chavo Guerrero versus Juventud Guerrera for the Cruiserweight Championship. Okay. Chavo's in control with a chop. Another stiff chop. Hoovie's trying to climb out of the ring because of the chops. He can't stand it. Oh, he just countered the second tilt-a-whirl. And they decided to run at each other. What they do that for? There's a grandma or an auntie or something right there in that front row. But this is actually a pretty well-structured match. It's fairly normal a match as possible for a Vince Russo card. Thank God he had nothing to do with the actual matches. With the actual work of the match. Because God knows what would have looked like if he'd had a hand in that. It's really embarrassing that they call this man Lieutenant Loco. And it's really crazy that I just now remember it and just now recognize that they've been calling him that. Tony Khan said that the unified title will that the international and the continental titles still exist. So that's why there's still a unit. The two championships still exist in AEW. Now the Filthy Animals were coming back in Halloween masks because clearly, if you can't see their faces, they're allowed to interfere. Yes, and it's amazing. They didn't even bother to change their clothes. That's how genius this was. And Conan is this weirdly built fellow here. The steroids got him. It's pretty crazy. Hmm. You should probably go watch Evolution, bro. I mean, it was a lot of wrestling to watch. It was a little too much. But if you ever find like some downtime, it's a decent show to watch when you have some downtime. It's not a priority though. I mean, it is an all women show, for God's sake. But it wasn't the worst show. It's actually WWE's best show of the year so far. Everybody's sitting here in Hawaiian shirts. That bum Mark Madden is out there. You said Halloween Havoc 97 was the last peak of WCW. I don't know, man. Starrcade was pretty decent that year. Yeah, Starrcade wasn't bad in 97. But I think Starrcade is where it peaked, if we're being honest. Once they didn't give you a clean finish to Hogan and Sting, that was it. And I think it was hard. Goldberg tried to keep him alive in 98, but yeah, I was kind of punched out after the Sting stuff. Ooh, springboard splash. That's one of the only high flying moves they've done so far. They've been wrestling a pretty traditional match, Chavo and Hoovy. He said, "We are informed by Commissioner Ernest the Cat that MIA and the Filthy Animals were banned from ringside, and yet they come out in masks during the match, and okay, they don't really do much. They're just there. And they just come out in the same clothes they were just wearing. It'd have been one thing if they came out wearing different clothes. At least you could have been like, who the hell is that? But they came out in the same goddamn clothes. Timestamp, we got 15 minutes and 40 seconds. 15:40. That was a nice power bomb there by Hoovy. We missed it though. I noticed they still got cameramen around ringside at this point. And I'm talking like legitimate guys with cameras. Ooh, that was nasty. Ooh, that Dominator? It was kind of sloppy. They called it a front suplex. There's nothing suplex about that thing. And here comes another. Oh, he's wearing a Bill Clinton mask. He's on his way to Epstein Island. What is this now? Oh, he was doing the Hoovy elbow, the juice elbow. Yeah, now here MIA come out in goofy masks, being a distraction. And here come the woman with the gigantic titties again. She stepped straight off the cover of Hustler, which is a low rent penthouse, which of course is a low rent Playboy. Oh my goodness, good goodness. You can tell. Oh boy, you know Vince Russo is involved with this because there's scribblers involved. Scribblers. Might as well just start playing Yin Yang Twins out here. This bro. He counted the tornado DDT and he counted the Hoovy driver. Oh, nice little back suplex there. Oh, and the juice kicked out. Not bad. Not bad. An inverted power bomb? It was a suplex, brother. Speaking of power bombs, he countered it. And he countered the body slam. Here comes the Hoovy driver. There it is. Why would it be a new champ? He is the champion. And he put his foot on the ropes. What is MIA doing out there except being a distraction to that extra very... Oh, no, it's not the pale referee. The Juicerweight Championship? Oh, that's what they're calling it? Huh. Lord of mercy. I hope not. Tornado DDT from Chavo. One. Wow. Anticlimactic finish. Oh. Oh, he was the champion already? Is that how that worked? What just happened here? Look at the size of Van Hammer's arm. Look at that arm. Everything in excess is what makes wrestling work. You have a woman with gigantic hooters and a man who's clearly on steroids. Of course, this is over. Whatever dubbed music they put over this in WWE is absolutely terrible. It's the shits. I can't imagine what their real song sounded like, but I hope it didn't sound like this. This is awesome. Awful. Let's be clear. Lieutenant Loco. Oh, okay. So yeah, Hoovy stole the belt. Yeah, I should have paid more attention. He was already the champion. All right, sensible. Lieutenant Loco. Oh, they're doing Rush Hour? Oh, okay, I get it. Vince Russo watched too much TV. Why did he pick Ernest the Cat Miller to be anything serious on the wrestling show? And why is there a Viking bitch? What is this about? Why is this fat woman singing? This is so random. Oh, here come the Italian guys. Deontay Belladonna says, what was your thoughts on Sports Illustrated giving Dean Malenko the award for Best Wrestler of the Year over Austin, Brett, Owen, Shawn, Taker, Eddie, Benoit, Rey Mysterio Jr.? This is in 1997, you said? You say you stopped taking. I didn't know Sports Illustrated even followed wrestling, and I didn't know that. Like, you're just introducing new facts to my life right now, and I'm not sure what to do with it, to be quite honest. I guess it depends on who wrote the article. There's always been smarks getting involved in wrestling space, and this sounds like something that Brian Alvarez would have wrote. That's what it feels like, as far as I'm concerned. Now here comes Vito. This is Vito, big meathead Vito, who claims that he invented the mobster gimmick. Because he's like, oh yeah, that Tony D'Angelo kid, he's stealing my gimmick. I did that gimmick a couple of years ago, 25 years ago, even though that kid's only like 30. He was 5 years old when this thing happened. Who cares? I like Johnny the Bull better anyway. But I'm surprised they got away with that whole Johnny the Bull thing. I'm surprised that guy didn't get pretty upset about it. There being a pro wrestler calling himself Johnny the Bull. Considering there was a real guy named Johnny the Bull. Was he in the pen at the time when this happened? This is, again, more retread ideas. Vince Russo was supposed to bring hot, fresh ideas to WCW. He just brought his old retreads from WWE. Now WCW has a hardcore championship. Now there's a hardcore title in WCW. Heavens to Betsy. Ralphus. Oh man, that's unfortunate. Whose idea was it to make Norman Smiley this gigantic coward in the hardcore division? And the only thing that he does is the big wiggle. I guess he got over, so it doesn't matter. But and if Ralph is his opponent, why is he kicking the shit out of Norman Smiley? Deontay says, I love Dean Malenko, but 97 best wrestler of the year. I don't know about that. They got extremely goofy when Kenny Omega won best wrestler of the year back in 2017 and 2021. I'm not surprised he got it in either year. The internet had really been blowing up Kenny Omega, so I'm not surprised at anything that he gets that is internet related. I'm sorry, what is happening here? I thought Ralphus was his opponent. Maybe I ought to look up who won Wrestler of the Year for Sports Illustrated. But more importantly, I need to probably need to look up and see who wrote those articles. Because they were probably guys who frequent the Observer. This was not my favorite idea that they got used to doing in the past with all the gay humping shit that they was doing. Road Dogg was doing it. Viscera was doing it. All these guys humping each other. It's so weird. He's being weirdos. Don't do that. It's gross. It's very bad. Bad for business. This Ralphus guy is something else. He got welts across his belly. Just say no to crack. Oh, holy shit. You say, remember when Ralph was with Chris Jericho? I think this guy is dead. He's got to be dead. This was 25 years ago, and this man is fat with gray hair at this point in time. He can't possibly still be alive. This man's probably dead by now. The question is, what year did he die in? I think Jericho announced that Ralphus had passed away at one point in time, didn't he? You said, what's next for Tony D? Did he get new lackeys? Main roster? I don't think he's going to be wanted on the main roster, man. I would suggest they just shoot him up to the main event of NXT, the top spot. What's up, Top Dog? How you doing, brother? There has been nothing interesting or entertaining occurring in this match yet. It's just been chaos. And Vito fighting the wrong guy. Oh, that's smart. Now he put him in the elevator to get rid of him. Now he can beat up Ralphus without Norman Smiley helping. Hey, that is some good psychology. Unfortunately, it's in this shitty scenario here. And Ralphus is running away. He's fleeing, seeing. This man does not look like he was in any way trained for anything physical and look like he is actually 2 bumps away from a heart attack. What did this guy do before he became Ralphus? That's what I want to know. We need like an origin story on Ralphus. I don't think anybody ever talked about him extensively. WG Field says apparently he died around 2018 to 2020 when Jericho was in AEW. Oh, wow, that's unfortunate. Like, this fat man just appeared out of nowhere one day and was with Chris Jericho. And everybody just accepted it. But I don't think this guy was ever a wrestler or anything. I think he might have been a security guard. Like, I don't know where this guy came from. Man, I don't even want to talk about Mortal Kombat right now. I just watched the trailer before I started this thing. You know, very disappointed in what I just saw. Would I rather watch WCW 2000 or an episode of Raw in 2025? I probably would be more entertained by an episode of WCW in 2000 because it's probably so shitty and terrible that it'd probably give me a lot to talk about. But Raw, good luck. I'm stretching it every week now. Ralphus was a truck driver? Interesting. How did he end up in this situation? Ooh. He just put this fat man through a table. So Vito won fairly easily. Just took up way too much time. This took up way too much time. Get all of these bums out of my sight. Get all of these people out of my sight. He's a truck driver for WCW. Who did anybody do an origin story on Ralphus at one point? Like they wrote like an article about him or something? Like is there a eulogy for him? Like did Mike Mooneyham write a eulogy? Did Meltzer write a eulogy? What is his real name? I don't know anything about this guy. This is the shit. Get these people off my television. You said NXT lost their passion, weak NXT World Title division. Yeah, the men's division is kind of whack. Mainly because when they brought in stars for the men, they stuffed them in the U.S. The North American title picture instead of taking them up to the main spot. Kevin Nash out here paving the way.
You know, Gene, it's no secret I've been myself.
Sure.
My wife's, I should say. And recently, it's a Paul Goldberg.
What?
He's holding my best friend's contract over my head. And,
huh? How does Goldberg holding Scott Hall's contract? How does that happen?
There's no way I'm going to let that in. Goldberg knows I've handed you.
Oh, I forgot that they turned Goldberg heel at the Great American Bash. This is the same year. Yeah, okay.
He knows I can do it, yeah. Just for old time's sake, Sir Goldberg, my jackhammer you're in the middle of the ring, I just might take the survey. Everybody knows, Bill, how those things just seem to piss you off. See you, Billy. All right, Kevin Nash and Goldberg later tonight here at the Bash at the Beach. Coming up, it's going to be a wedding gown match between Daphne and Miss Hancock.
A wedding gown match? Oh, we're suffering now, my guys. I guess I get to look at Daphne. Everybody keep telling me how awesome she was. I guess we're about to find out. I did see a lot of her stuff in TNA, but I'm certainly not a big Daphne guy. I know, right? I wasn't watching wrestling at the time. I guess you had to be there. Top Dog says, imagine being a wrestler in WWEW in 2000, then when WWE was completely on fire in pop culture. And then Vince Russo tells you it is all because of him. He's the guy that's got it all hot. And then he comes there and tries to do the same thing with people with no charisma, no personality, and Chavo Guerrero. We're going to make you guys the new DX, bro. She's going to have a huge rack, bro. Just massive tits, all in your face, bikini 100% of the time. No other discernible character or personality, because we had it with Trish Stratus over in the WWE, even though it worked because Trish had charisma and Sable had charisma, which is not true of this woman, Major Guns. But she got huge tits. That's all that matters. Stacy Keibler is great, though. Even though she ain't got much on charisma either, she's at least playing her role well. This is about to be interesting. It's about to be interesting. It's about to be interesting. Is that a cake? Is it about to be covered in cake? They wrote this really sleazy storyline featuring David Flair and these hot chicks. And David Flair did a terrible job of pulling this off because he does not look believable in the role at all. I'm sorry, Miss Hancock. We know her as Stacy Keibler, but her official government name in WCW is Miss Hancock. I don't think they got to the Stacy Keibler part yet. And David Flair looks like every white boy in the crowd. Frosted tips, hair sticking straight up on his head. I don't get it. I don't understand this era. I praise God that Vince McMahon had good sense and didn't bring in David Flair. David Flair is the shits. He's the shits. He's really bad. Probably the worst Flair. Infinitely worse than his sister. Oh my goodness. He's a little too into it. Kissing all up her leg, all Pepe Le Pew. Good Lord. Say get a room. I always thought that was funny when people say that. Get a room. You don't need a room, baby. That's what we doing. We doing it right now. Daphne is my role model. Oh Lord. Even back then, they just completely no selling this woman walking to the ring. And she's completely no selling them. What is this supposed to be? Oh shit, she punched him in the butt. It was supposed to be the nuts, but she really just punched him in the butt. And he punched him in the asshole, which has got to be the strangest place to get punched. And of course, we got ourselves a hair pulling affair here. And now David Flair is pulling hair. You say you think Vince Russo? What happened? What happened? How did Top Dog get banned? Oh shit! How did that happen? No. I was reading that comment and then it banned him. What the hell is going on? That's the third time that has happened. How do I stop this shit from happening? Top Dog, I'm sorry, brother. I didn't mean to ban you. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to unban people either. I have no idea what's going on. I've been trying to unban people forever on this channel. I don't know how to do it. There's got to be some way of doing it. I need to figure it out. It's probably got something to do with StreamYard. Maybe I have to go through StreamYard to unban people. WG Phil says Daphne was kind of the representation of the Scream Queen from Scream or the Craft. She would have been cool to have in WWE. I think so. I think she was a decent character. Is Hogan? Yeah, this is Hogan versus Double J in the middle of the card, and Booker T and Hogan in the main event. I mean Booker T and Jeff Jarrett in the main event. Oh shit! They stole his pants. Oh, they stole his pants. Let me see if I can figure out how to bring Top Dog back. I didn't mean to ban him. I don't know how I did that. Now wait, it says here there are no banned guests, but there are banned guests. Like what the hell? I guess people who can come into the space. I don't know what's going on, man. This is the shits. I done banned somebody else by mistake. Can this? Oh, wait, why is the referee out there in his drawers? It's entirely too many people out here in their drawers. None of them are female. Now Crowbar taking his pants off. Hell no. What is happening? Deontay Belladonna says, what is the best cruiserweight title match in your opinion besides Eddie versus Ray? Probably one of the Ray DiMalenko matches. I think they had a really good match at I think it was Great American Bash that I'm thinking of. They also had a really good one on Nitro. I think it was the very next night. They also had some real bangers with Ultimo Dragon and I want to say Psychosis. They had some real bangers. Like some real crazy bangers. I have to figure out what I did to my guy. Cause I just banned him for no good reason. I have to figure out how I bring him back. Wait, now she's taking her clothes off and she's dancing, and Crowbar is twerking, and the bell starts to ring. What? Oh, okay. That's okay. I don't understand what's going on, but all right. She's about to get hit in the face with a piece of cake. She took the bump before the cake even got in her face. I don't understand what's going on. You said you love Ray versus Psychosis in ECW, and they didn't wrestle in ECW in '99. I think that was maybe in '95, or was it '94? No, actually, I think it was '95. I think Ray came in '95. Came into WCW. Now it's a food fight. We just turned this thing. It went from strippers to food fights. This is chaotic. Oh hell no! Okay, that. I gotta figure out how to bring my guy back. I done banned him totally accidentally, and um, how do I? What am I supposed to do? Yeah, I need to go to StreamYard or something to figure out how to bring back people I banned. You said their '95 match was in AAA. I'm not sure. I don't remember seeing them in AAA. I wasn't watching that AAA stuff. So now they're haunting him again. Oh Lord! Ernest the Cat Miller is he's the main character of this show apparently. Yeah, attractive. Well, there's some attractive women left. They're just not allowed to be too hot, or people are going to complain. Or if you're too hot, that's a problem. I don't need you to be major guns where you just have nothing to offer except gigantic titties. But I don't mind it. Oh my Lord. What did I do? You Ray and Psychosis had a match in New Japan? I just found out the other day that Ray had a match with Low Key. I didn't even know that. Now look at these fools trying to clean up cake. They gotta waste time while these people walk around with towels to try to clean up cake because that idiot Vince Russo got cake all over the floor. He said, "I don't mind." It made me cackle. That fool got cake all over the place, and now they got to stop the show to clean up the cake. So nobody can break the goddamn neck in the next match. What's this about, Shaq? Maybe I should be listening. They're doing a real bad. This fool is. Look at how tough it is for them to clean up cake. This one motherfucker is here with a bottle of water trying to clean up this cake with a small hand towel. Okay? Look at the mess that they made. It's so bad, they're just moving the mats because the show has to go on. So now they're just going to remove the mats completely because these dipshits got cake and icing all over the mats, and it's slippery, and they're doing a very piss poor job of getting the cake up. They're not professionals. Okay? There's no way Vince McMahon would have gotten cake all over the goddamn ring, and it would have took them this long to get the cake up. This would have taken long at all. They'd have hydroblasted that shit if they had to. But here's Vince Russo getting icing all over the place, and they don't know how to clean it up. Now here comes the tag team champions. I don't know who the tag team champions are. Oh no, meat. Hey, you remember Chuck Palumbo had a pretty extensive WWE career. Chuck Palumbo was in WWE for a while. They gave him like what 3 or 4 different gimmicks. You said to unblock on his channel page or YouTube studio. I've been trying that. I've been trying to unblock people through the YouTube studio. That shit keeps failing. I'll try it again. I'll try it again tonight. Sorry, I blocked you, buddy. Cause I got like 3 or 4 people I gotta unblock, for God's sake. But I don't think YouTube Studio controls me being able to block people on StreamYard. Why is their theme a royalty-free Mr. Perfect thing? Because Vince Russo is not smart, and they're called the Perfect Event. Now here comes Chronic. The 2 Bryans. I hate both of these guys, especially Crush. I can't stand Crush. My hatred of Crush just... You had to be there, man. I lived through 1993 and 1992. I cannot stand Crush. I hate Crush with everything I am. I wasn't a big fan of Adam Bomb, but Crush, god damn it. He's never seemed to go away either. He was there forever. And never did a motherfucking thing except waste Randy Savage's WrestleMania 10 match. Bulky son of a bitch. At least he started taking steroids. He started looking decent at that point. He was chubby big at one point. And then he started taking steroids. Now he's getting cut. It's crazy. Undertaker put his job on the line to get these bums a job and then got them fired. Because they were his friends, for fuck's sake. He got them into WWE and they were so bad, he had to go ahead and get rid of them. The only thing Crush ever did that was decent was beat Crush in Demolition. He wasn't even really that great at that. But then he lingered around for like almost 10 more years. He was the shits. And then he went to prison and came back, and Vince gave him a job again. He's a bum. He's a certified bum. And if you think fucking Baron Corbin being the last opponent for Kurt Angle was an offense, guess who the last opponent for Macho Man Randy Savage was in the WWE? It was fucking Crush. Well, his last WrestleMania opponent. It was fucking Crush. It was Crush. WrestleMania 10. Crush versus Randy Savage. What the fuck? He was the Baron Corbin of his day. There was nobody can. I have yet to see anybody. I would pay for a book or somebody to explain to me why Vince McMahon liked Bryan Adams so much. No, his name is not Brian Adams. It's no, Brian Adams is the other one, right? I forget what his fucking name is. All I know is he's Crush and he sucks. I know his name Brian. I think I might be right though. I think it might be Brian Adams. I might have been right the first time. But he wasted everybody's time in the Nation of Domination. And then they gave him his own stable and he was even worse. Crush is good for nothing. I think he's dead now, isn't he? Brian Clark. Okay, there it is. Yeah, he's the shit. Ugh. He's the shits, man. Fuck. Have mercy, dog. We need help. I haven't even talked about this match because I can't stop talking about how terrible Crush is. Sean Stasiak, he's the shits too. He's really bad. He's nothing like his dad. His dad was decent. You said I'm not a fan. Look, the thing is, Baron Corbin was boring, but he could at least have been decent as the Baron Corbin he was in NXT. But he was kind of a boring wrestler, kind of a generic big guy, you know. But Crush, he's the shits. He's the shits. He's one of those guys that have been around for so long. He's on so many cards. He's nobody's favorite wrestler. He's been in nobody's favorite match. He's done nothing of note, and he had a really long career. I liked Happy Corbin. He's a shitty wrestler, though. He's boring. He's just a boring wrestler. He has a boring moveset. He has a kind of a boring look, but he's a serviceable wrestler. He's a good personality guy. You know, that Happy Corbin, bum ass Corbin, and Happy Corbin were actually not too bad. It made his matches tolerable. Oh, I was right the first time. Brian Adams. Okay, good. I wanted to make sure I'm right. I hate to write Brian. I think Brian Clark is also passed away, isn't he? No, he's still alive. I think he was tweeting the other day. Yeah, so Brian Clark is still alive. Deontay Belladonna, women's wrestling has been greater than the men this year. Besides Hangman versus MJF, I still have to see at least one great match from the men. TLC 5 don't count. Well, as long as John Cena's in the main event, you're probably going to be in trouble. Because as long as they insist on doing these really long matches with tons of run-ins, you're going to be in trouble. But they, who knows what might happen. But I like quite a few matches from the men this year. It's just none of the main event stuff. Like I like the Octagon Dominic Mysterio match. I loved El Hijo del Vikingo versus Chad Gable. I thought that was amazing. Yeah, I liked a lot of just not main event guys. Main event guys in both companies have been the shits. But because of Jey Uso and John Cena and fucking Cody Rhodes, and even the matches that were starting to cook, like Cena and Orton was cooking, then they had to run in. Punk and Cena was cooking, then they had to run in. I think Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles might be pretty good. Yeah, NXT always does a really good job in the ring. Oba Femi has had really good matches too. He says the few wrestlers I actually hate is Hangman, Brody King, the Buckaroos, and Current Jericho. Most guys, I don't care enough about them to hate them because I don't really like. My hatred is usually for people who've been around for a really long time, and I can't think of anything good that they've done. But Crush is at the top of that fucking list, man. I fucking hate Crush. My God, Jesus Christ, it's real bad, man. It's real bad. And then he wasted Randy Savage's time by having a bad match with Randy Savage. Good Lord. He said at least he had a decent Japanese wife. Maybe that's how he ended up as being Japanese Crush. Vince heard he had Vince heard he had a Japanese wife and was like, fuck it, you're Japanese, pal. I'm gonna put you in Mr. Fuji. He said, why did Vince put Crush in the Nation? This was before the Nation was like fully woke. Again, it didn't become like the Nation of Domination fully woke version until they kicked out the Puerto Rican and the white guy. Well, then all of a sudden it became, the Nation of Islam essentially. But Crush was in it, and Savio Vega was in it. We are the Nation of Domination. I think Vince was trying to avoid the racial angle, but then he had the Clarence Thomas like attorney in there. It was just too obvious. And then they started bringing all the black guys in. This is when D-Lo was in developmental, and he was just known as the guy who got purple replenished to a table at Royal Rumble, and that was pretty amazing, actually. That was one of my favorite matches. I don't care what nobody says. I love the Ahmed Johnson and Farouk match from Royal Rumble '97. That match was chaos, bro. I love that match so much. It's a comfort match for me. Where no, it's not going to be. It's not a 5-star classic. But when I tell you, I was super excited as a youngin to see that shit. I was hype. And then the street fight at WrestleMania 13. Oh boy, I was locked in because the Road Warriors was in it, so I was definitely excited. Unfortunately, Crush is in that match. For God's sake. I forgot Obafemi wrestled Moose, for God's sake. That was on NXT TV. I forgot all about that. What a maneuver. Yeah, absolutely. That was amazing. Who was trained by Antonio Inoki? Please don't tell me Brian Clark was. Because he was the shit. He seemed like somebody who Inoki would have slapped in the face 100 times. Inoki was beating the shit out of Shinsuke Nakamura and the rest of those guys. But I know he had to be beating the hell out of Crush. He had to get daily beatings. Man, everything about Crush is the shit. But that stable was the worst. The Disciples of Apocalypse, holy hell. They're really bad. They were bad on a biblical level. All these motherfuckers did was populate Jacked and Metal, and they did nothing. And then the Nazi twins were there too. God damn. And then you had that other guy, that Chains fellow. He was the shits too. Disciples of, they were not as bad as Los Barriquas. That was the worst stable, and that's one of the worst stables in wrestling history. I'm not even gonna lie to you, dog. Los Barriquas had nothing going for it. Absolutely nothing. I don't care how good. This guy's slipping all over the ring, for Christ's sake. Did they get all the icing out of the ring? Crush was trained by Inoki. Oh, hell no. I got to see how that worked out. You said whatever happened to Nakamura. Dude must be 60. He aging like a dog in WWE, I swear to God. How he keeping a job, I have no idea. It's got to be because Vince likes him. He'll probably be on Smackdown tomorrow too, by the way. I don't like Kawada, so I don't care about Kawada getting a 6-star match. I don't like Kawada. I'm not a big fan. I think a lot of those Misawa matches are kind of generic shit. You know, the only ones I really got into when it comes to Misawa was the Kobashi matches. And that's because Kobashi he has a magnetism, a charisma, and he has such fire and presence. I'm a big fan of Kobashi. Not that big a fan of Misawa, but Misawa's not a bad wrestler. I'm just, he's kind of you have to like the nuts and bolts of wrestling and care a whole lot about that stuff to give a shit about a Kawada, a Misawa match. I don't care that much. So for me, I like the personality, the persona, how he carried himself of Kobashi. I don't give a shit about Misawa or any of the matches. And I know Meltzer likes him, but he's a fucking robot. He's just like Okada, very little in the way of personality. I know that's what the Japanese like. They like, wrestlers to be kind of stoic. That's why they such big fans of Tomohiro Ishii. But I like wrestlers that emote, and show emotion and so passion and shit. That's actually when I became somewhat a fan of Okada, is when I became somewhat emotional. These guys are getting lost in the ring. Will you end this, please? This match has been going on long enough. Satoshi Aki is an ass of note. Well, most of them are. It's fucking Japan. You say you remember the oddities with ICP? They were terrible but over for some reason. Because the ICP were popular at that time. You know? People still living in 1999 are juggalos. Almost all of the Masawa matches I've watched have been the same. I can't tell one from the other. But I can when it comes to Kobashi. And that's the big difference. Hey, that was a nice little F5 he just did. But it's crushed, so who gives a fuck? 13 minutes? Oh my lord. How long has it been so far? I feel like I've been talking about Crush all this time. He needs to go away. He needs to get out of my life. Damn, that was a stiff kick to the face, bro. Whoever thought it was a good idea to give Sean Stasiak almost 15 minutes needs to get put on trial. Ooh. A double choke slam. And he just let this guy break up the pin. What is happening? I can see why WWE kept Palumbo around for so long. He's a big guy. He's got some level of athleticism. You know, didn't have really much in terms of a personality, but you don't know what else he could do. So I can see why they tried to, you know, do something with him. But Stasiak had already been there and failed, so him not getting the job, it's like big deal. Was I a fan of Jushin Liger? Absolutely. I still am. He's amazing. When it comes to the Japanese guys, I like the smaller guys anyway. Hayabusa, Ultimo Dragon, Tiger Mask, the original Tiger Mask. That's a pretty good finish there. They blown the fuck up, boy. That nigga's tired. That's a tired guy right there. It's a tired man. What is this? Where did this come from? Something is on my screen and won't get off. What's happening? Now I can't see the comments because this thing randomly popped up. Let me see what the hell is going on here. Who put this here? Oh, auto start super. Somebody sent a super chat. I can't even read it because I can't see it. Oh my God. Do we need more Ernest the Cat Miller? And why is this fat woman following Jared around? Okay, there we go. Now I can see you in the comment section. Man, what's going on? Chuck Palumbo was so 2003. Rock or Austin? That's the question from Jaden Young. I've always been an Austin guy more than The Rock, to be quite honest. Austin was far more. The Rock was fun to watch, though. It's just, you know, I kind of got tired of him a little bit, but The Rock was always fun to watch. But I was far more of an Austin guy. Oh, here comes Canyon. Oh, jeez. I guess we all have to pretend we love Chris Canyon now, right? I don't. I'm not going to pretend. I don't like Chris Canyon. We're on a bad run here. There's a bunch of people I don't want to see. Now here comes oh, he about to wrestle Diamond Dallas Page. I guess this could be interesting because DDP is good. Canyon is doing he's mocking DDP. Is this the end of the triple threat? Not the triple threat. What was it? What the Jersey Triad they were calling themselves? He oiled up only his arms. He didn't oil up the rest of his face. Dark Side of the Ring told me to, so I must love him. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, he's wrestling Booker T? Oh, this is a waste of Booker T's time. Yeah, I don't know, man. Everybody feels so bad for Canyon. I was never a fan. I'm still not a fan. I didn't even like Mortis. I didn't even like that character. And it's crazy. I usually love characters like that. But it came across like a Kane ripoff, and I can't stand it. And all he did was try to do cool moves in the gimmick. I didn't get it. It was dumb. Booker T does not look like a man who's about to be the world champion later. I would think if he's going to be the world champion later, he wouldn't be wrestling a sawed-off bum like Chris Canyon in the 5th match on the show. Or the 4th match, however many matches it is. Deontay Belladonna doesn't like the Rock and Austin feud. Man, well, all of the matches were obviously Austin was going to win every match. I mean, come on, get real. But even beyond that point, I enjoyed everything about the Rock and Austin feud. Is Sting on this show? Honestly, I do not know. I don't think Sting is on this show. You know, Sting had an alcohol problem. He was gone for a while. So I'm not sure if he was around at this time. This is the shits. Is that Canyon's real hair or is that a wig? Because it looks kind of like a wig. Do you think Book could do this haircut in current day or is it too late? I think he got way too much hair now, and people would think he looked weird if he didn't have his hair. WrestleMania 19 is the best match for Rock and Austin. I think people would say 17. I love this. I love the 15 match though. Oh, it was a wig. Okay. I would not disagree with you because I like the straight up nature of the WrestleMania 19 match. I like that it was the blow off to their feud. But I love WrestleMania 15. I love that match. And WrestleMania 17 was a lot of fun too, but that heel turn kind of ruined it. Yes, Canyon was super gay, and I guess they try to say he was bisexual, but he was gay, super gay. But that's why you're supposed to love him. Who's better than Canyon? Everybody, actually, except Brian Adams. I'd rather watch Canyon than Crush, for God's sake. Damn, he drop kicked the shit out of that dude. WrestleMania 19 is X9's favorite WWE pay-per-view ever, along with SummerSlam 2002. I think SummerSlam 2002 might be my favorite pay-per-view of all time. I hadn't really put that much thought into what shows I love a whole lot, but SummerSlam 2002 was one of them, absolutely. Super big fan of that show. I mean, Benoit and RVD killed it on that show. My goodness. And that Triple H and Shawn was on the same show. And Rock and Brock was on that same show. And Angle and Rey Mysterio was on that same show. Would I rather Crush or Big Show? Oh. What era of Big Show are we talking here? Are we talking late stage Big Show? Are we talking anything after, let's say, 2007? I'd probably rather watch Crush. Because Big Show was one of the worst in the world for like 15 years, and then he finally went away, I think. But he was especially bad in the 2010s. I don't think I hate anything more than I hate Big Show in the 2010s. He is the worst. When he had that feud with Sheamus, I almost quit wrestling all over again. I felt like I was Jesus, literally carrying a crucifix to my own resting place, having to deal with that shit every week. Oh my God, it was so awful. It was so bad. It was biblically bad. Black pants, tank top Big Show. Are you talking about 99 Big Show? 99 Big Show wasn't that bad, but it wasn't great. It wasn't great, man. The entire era of Big Show was pretty bad, but I'll never forgive Vince for pushing Big Show in 2015, for fuck's sake. He should have been gone at that point in time. He was still there, man. And they were still doing stuff with him. He was the shits. He was so bad. That's when they were trying to turn Big Show into like the world's best actor. How is this legal, by the way, referee? How is this man able to hit the steel stairs with a chair onto Booker T's arm, and that's legal? How, referee? Mr. Referee, how is he able to use the damn stairs as a weapon? How is that happening? You said to unblock someone. Let me screenshot this, because I might need to unblock quite a few people. Let's see if this works, because I don't know how to do that shit. I've been trying for like months to unblock people. I keep giving up, because it's like, man, if you block at this point, brother, I don't know what to do. You said Big Show now on the Big Show now on Tubi. Holy hell. I forgot he had his own show, for Christ's sake. Vince should be in prison for giving Big Show his own show. Actually, matter of fact, no. It was genius. He was trying to set him up for a career outside of WWE. I wish it would have worked. I wish the world would have fell in love with Big Show. He could have went away and been Captain Insano or whatever the fuck he wanted to do. Why are they fighting? Why is Canyon fighting Booker T? What is the problem here? What's the conflict? This feels like something that should have been on Nitro. The master of the Canyon Cutter. Who gives a fuck about any of that stuff? Really, bro? Who cares about any of that shit? The Big Show is the modern day Everybody Loves Raymond. That was the plot they were going for, wasn't it? I don't know. Is he still with AEW? I don't know if he's still with AEW or not. He seemed like one of those guys where the contract would have expired by now, and Tony Khan would have just saved himself some money by not having the guy on the show. Canyon was cosplaying and mocking DDP, and Booker T wanted to avenge his friend. That's why this match happens. All right, we don't need this. This needs to go away. They could put this on Thunder. That's a pretty cool finisher there. Alabama slam into a sit-out powerbomb. That's pretty sweet. Somebody should steal that move for a finisher. But the Alabama slam sucks. That shit is like a whiplash move. That shit hurts too. It looked like it hurt bad. I think somebody got a concussion from that shit, didn't they? It's like a sudden stop from that swing. The reverse Boston Crab. Now why would I care about this? Now explain this to me. Why would I care about this? Was Austin turning heel back in 01 the worst decision of Austin's career? No, him walking out was the worst decision he ever made. He wasted so much of his time that he had left in wrestling. He just walked away. Maybe it preserved him, but I think that might have been one of the worst decisions he's ever made, was walking out. This is WCW 2000 Mongo. Nothing on the show mattered outside the main event shit. Well, that's true. Nothing we've seen so far mattered. It's all been silly stuff for like since the first match. Actually, yeah, it's all been silly shit up to this point in general. It's been Ernest the Cat Miller fucking around with the Young Dragons. It was the MIA, the Filthy Animals, wedding gowns, icing, and cake. Then really terrible shit that involved Crush, and now this. There's been a whole lot of bad stuff. Why did he hit him in the face with that thing? Is that a book? Oh, he hit him in the face. Oh shit, he's spinning Rooney down at the book. Good lord. Oh, shuffle sidekick. I always like that move from Booker T. He said him walking out because Lesnar, he didn't want to put the job to Lesnar on Raw is pretty dumb. And he got in trouble with Deborah, so he should have just done the job. He should have just went out there and got disqualified, called the audible in the ring and got disqualified. That's what he should have did. That's what like the Crusher would have done. That's what like that's what like Dick the Bruiser would have done. That's what like the Legion of Doom would have done. Holy shit. What was that about? And why did he just hit this man in the head with a guitar like that? Holy hell. You know what? It kind of makes sense for what's about to happen later in the show, but it felt kind of random. Felt random. What's my favorite NXT takeover? Rival. The one with the main event that was Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Mainly because that's the only one I can remember. Most of the takeovers are named after cities, and I don't remember none of them shits. Yeah, they put Ray. They had devil horns on Ray, man. What the fuck were they doing? What were they thinking? Austin walked out to fight Deborah in a jailhouse match and lost. You know, the crazy thing is watching Deborah talk about Steve Austin beating her ass is actually very believable because she's not histrionic about it. She's kind of matter of fact about what was happening. What the hell is going on here? The fat chick thriller. Wait a minute. What you mean you beat him twice already? You beat Scott Steiner twice? They let Mike Awesome beat Scott Steiner twice? This is another guy that I'm supposed to like because the internet likes him. I don't like Mike Awesome. Sorry. Yeah, he's super gay. Very gay and unusual. Very gay and unusual, by the way. I love Steiner. I'm all in for some Steiner business. Unfortunately, I got to watch Mike Awesome, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this turns out. Mike Awesome is a decent wrestler, but he's not as great as everybody tried to make him out to be. Because he really worked against much smaller guys. You liked I liked Gargano versus Andrade too. It was actually one of the least ridiculous Gargano matches. That was before Gargano really started feeling himself. And his matches ended up being 45 minutes with 1,000 kickouts. That was indeed Takeover Philadelphia because I just watched that the other day, like 3 months ago, maybe. There's no way I'm watching Gargano and Ciampa. I'm not watching none of that shit. No Gargano and Ciampa, no Gargano and Cole. I'm not watching none of that. That's when he started feeling himself. He was on the show all fucking night. They were absolute bullshit, man. Those matches were bullshit. They're unwatchable. You know, they're absolutely unwatchable. I hate Gargano and Adam Cole matches. I can't stand them. I hate them so much. I don't know what to do. Is this Medeja that's with Scott Steiner? She's kind of hot. There's another one that looked like she stepped right off a Penthouse magazine. That is Medeja. I was right. The fat chick thriller. Him trying to put the Mac on a fat bitch wearing fucking opera clothes. Steiner and Mike Awesome. On paper, this should be fine. I'm not a big Mike Awesome guy, but he's not the shits. He's athletic as hell. As by this nice dive we just got here. He was very athletic for a big guy, but he probably needs to be retrained from the bottom up. You hate the blue and green Titantrons? They all in the crowd and shit. What is going on here? He said, what's worse, Gargano and Cole or Cole and O'Reilly? Gargano and Cole. Cole and O'Reilly got ridiculous near the end. Like, their last match was absolutely absurd. Like, the last match they had was absurd. That match was like 45 minutes, and they hit each other with everything and no-sold a bunch of shit. But it wasn't nearly as bad as Gargano and Cole because Cole and O'Reilly was like, everybody's leaving. That's when Vince came in with the broom and got rid of all them bums. He said, if this was 2025, a lot of people would want Mike to be world champion. I think a lot of people wanted him to be world champion back then too, but it was only people who watched like Japanese wrestling. Like nobody who watched him in the United States cared that Mike Awesome was a world champion at ECW. Nobody gave a shit. He was actually champion during one of the downtimes of ECW. Only like guys on the internet care that much about Mike Awesome. Most people I know who watch ECW don't remember the Mike Awesome era of being ECW world champion because they probably had stopped watching it by then. You'll be hard pressed to find somebody whose favorite era of ECW is anything after when Taz lost that belt. And I mean when Taz lost it to not Bigelow. He lost it to Awesome, yeah. Because he lost the TV title to Bigelow. Yeah, him and Horace Hogan are like nephews of Hulk Hogan. Or in-laws or something. I know Horace is literally his nephew. I think Mike Awesome might be related to Hulk Hogan by marriage or something like that. But I know he is related to Hulk Hogan. I just forgot how. The best thing about Mike Awesome was that he was a gigantic dude who was very athletic. And you always got time for a guy like that. Ooh, Steiner just threw the shit out of him now. You just got to stop Steiner here, though. His muscles take steroids. I love Scott Steiner. What a terrible backbreaker that was, bro. That was not good. How did Paul Heyman get away with playing licensed songs? I was surprised when I found out New Jack came out to Dr. Dre and Ice Cube. Nobody cared because nobody knew. ECW was local. They didn't know that he was doing that shit. He wasn't on national TV doing that. But you see what happened when he went to TNN. He couldn't do that stuff. Finn Balor and Tommaso Ciampa gave Gargano his best matches. I guess. I like Ciampa. I like when they work together. Balor and Ciampa. I like their matches. How is that legal? He's hitting the man with a chair, ref. Do people not care about the rules anymore, for God's sake? Or I forgot this is 2000. This is where you can set a motherfucker on fire and the match could still go on. It doesn't make sense. Nothing matters. He just hit him with a bell. Is this match no disqualification? I didn't know about it. What's happening? The rules are relaxed in WCW 2000. Relaxed. He hit him with a chair now. He hit him in the face with a ring bell. There are no rules. Okay? There is no relax means that you might be able to get away with a little bit of stuff. This is, I'm going to hit this guy with this chair right in front of the referee. He's not going to do anything. This is the New Japan 2010s rules, which is one of the reasons why I couldn't get into those Omega and Okada matches. They would cheat behind the referee's back sometimes, and then they would get a chair and hit a guy with it right in front of the referee other times. It was so dumb. Ooh. So is Steiner the babyface? Because looking like Steiner might be the babyface in this situation, bros. Slingshot splash, not bad. 1, 2. That referee is super white. This is the whitest referee I've ever seen. He's almost Amish. Man, this guy's white. Looks like albino. Oh, to make this even worse, not only do we got the whitest referee of all time, we got Dracula face here, but now we got Ernest the Cat Miller coming out here, who is the absolute dog shits. I think a lot of people wore Bullet Club shirts without even knowing what the Bullet Club was. That's just how I feel. I don't have any information to justify that, but it feels to me like that might have been one of those shirts where people saw it and it was like, damn, that's cool, and put that on and didn't know it was in any way attached to wrestling. What's happening? What's going on here? Now, what's going on here? Oh my lord! That was interesting. Why is Ernest the Cat Miller out here? Somebody help me, please. How is he involved with this story? Help me, please. I'm lost. He can't use a Steiner recliner? Why? Awesome splash. And he kicked out of that joint. Oh my goodness. That was actually a pretty dope finish kick out there. Because Mike Awesome, that's one of the few things he does very good is his big splash from the top rope. His power bombs, though, are lethal. I would not let Mike Awesome powerbomb me. After we did the Booker T, I would not let him powerbomb me. Ernest Cat Miller got a super push in 2000 just for being Bischoff's sparring partner in karate class. He was one of the worst guys ever. He was all over the show too, man. Like, he's been on this show more than anybody else. He is the main character of the show. The crowd is getting into this one. It's actually pretty decent. Nice slam there from Steiner. Oh, he totally. You put him in a Steiner recliner. And the commissioner rings the bell. After everybody hit each other with tables and chairs, and it's insane. This is an illegal move, but hitting the guy in the face with the belt Hitting the guy in the face with a chair, that's not illegal. Hitting the guy in the face with a bell is not illegal, but putting him in a Steiner recliner, well, that's illegal. I'm going to disqualify you. Who thought of this shit? You're not supposed to put your thought into this at all. You better throw the shit out of Mike Awesome, ain't he? Ooh wee! What a throw! What a throw! That was fantastic. Great bump by Mike Awesome, by the way. Good shit, pal. He says Impact being on YouTube going to be a permanent thing. I guess until they get a new TV deal, it's going to be permanent. I like it. I don't have to go and watch it on Access anymore. I hate Access, by the way. Anything that can avoid watching Access is great. He said the Mike Jackson biopic got postponed and probably going to be a two-parter because they had to remove any dramatization of the 1993 Chandler case as part of the settlement. What settlement? The part of Michael Jackson's part of the settlement, or part of the Chandler part of the settlement? And how did they didn't know that when they started shooting the fucking movie? Shouldn't they have known that already? I don't think you could do the movie without talking about that, though. So, yeah, probably have to make it a two-parter. I think they're going to have to buy TNA in order to keep TNA alive. Because Carlos Silva going out there talking about TNA. I think they want TNA to be its own thing. They want to help TNA grow, I think. But I think they're going to end up having to buy it. Or really help them in a very significant way. Like they might just say, we're going to give TNA the fucking TV deal and we're going to put them on our network like they did with those fucking European indies. I don't understand why WWE hasn't done that in a long time anyway. They should go and find like Pro Wrestling Revolver and a lot of these unaffiliated indies and get them to host their shows on Peacock. Not Peacock, but the network. But that's actually what they were doing. Was with the network, they had all these indies. They gave them a little bit of a stipend just to produce shows on the network. I like those days. That was fun stuff. The Kiss Demon, a terrible gimmick. Oh shit! That guy just jumped out of the trees. Why is he in the tree? Is that Vampiro? I can't see. I can't see who is that Vampiro he's fighting? Yeah, it is Vampiro. Okay. All right. I understand what's going on now. I heard so much about Vampiro when I was a kid. I thought he was going to be the GOAT. And then I see him in WCW and I'm like, yeah, he's all right. He's not even Mexican. He's fucking Canadian. And that was the most disappointing thing about it to me. I'm like, I thought this was a really cool Hispanic vampire guy. Nope. He's fucking white. He's fucking white. And he's got dreadlocks. That didn't bother me too much, at least back then. I was more disappointed about him not being Hispanic than about him having dreadlocks. I didn't care about that. I wish Vampiro would have gotten a shot in WCW back when somebody was a competent booker. It might have turned out great because he's a good wrestler. But when Vince Russo, all he did was dark shit, like stuff like this. And he set Sting on fire or some shit like that, didn't he? He said this was the aftermath of that abomination known as the Sting versus Vampiro feud. Yeah, this is after Vampiro set Sting on fire. Good shit, bro. I'm very disappointed that their matches weren't any good. Because again, like I said, I heard a lot about Vampiro from the dirt sheets and stuff. But none of the Vampiro stuff that I saw was any good. But his stuff in Mexico is good though. This shit in WCW is not good. And this Dale Torberg guy, he's a shits. He's a jabroni they put in the kiss paint. High level embarrassment to the business. And you can't see a fucking thing here. You could tell it's Vince Russo because they didn't bother to put the lights out or nothing. They just didn't think about it. I guess they figure it's better if Charles Robinson walks around with a light. You can't see shit. You got to get back to the arena to win. Is that smoke signal? Oh shit, is that the swamp? Oh shit, he's in the swamp. Oh Lord. Is he covered in leeches and shit right at this point? Vampiro is white. He's Canadian. He's a white man. He's not fucking Mexican. That was the disappointing thing about him. He wasn't Mexican. I would not fuck around in the swamps. There's too many leeches and other bizarre animals in the swamps. It's not a good idea. You got catfish, all sorts of bacteria. Nah, I'm good. Big ups to Dale Torborg and Vampiro for wrestling in the swamp. Because there's no way I would have done it. I'd call Vince Russo an asshole and not did it. You're going to end up with a goddamn salmon up your ass or something like that. He laid in wait and attacked this man in the swamp. And now he's kidnapping his girl. And this is, I'm guessing, the baby face of the story, right? I don't know what's going on, man. I'm not sure what's happening or why. But it's and the referee's now in the swamp water. Because he got to try to save this fucking guy. You know what? I certainly hope Buff Bagwell isn't on the show, too. Steiner was on the show and Buff wasn't there, so maybe he won't be there. So that would be great. Buff Bagwell, also not one of my favorites. Not a Buff Bagwell guy. I got to tell you that. Tell you the truth. He sucked ass. This guy's the shits. It's unfortunate because Vampiro was one of the top draws in fucking Mexico. No, Ray was already on the show. He already lost his mask at this point. Ray lost his mask in '99, if I remember correctly. Oh, they fought back to the damn casket. Hey, he called him Dale for real? Oh, okay. They're very dramatic. Oh, shit. He hit him in the face with like a giant stone block. Yeah, he killed him. That man's dead, okay? Is this the end of the Kiss Demon? Because I hope so. You know the character was dead when they started calling him by his real name. It's over, brother. This is not a buried alive match, is it? I don't know what kind of match this is. I don't know how you're supposed to win this thing. They said something about getting back to the arena, but nobody's trying to. Oh, shit. He just flipped the damn casket with Torborg in it. He's going to set the casket on fire? Oh, okay. And he spit out on him. Jesus, disrespectful. Very disrespectful man you are, Vampiro. I guess Vampiro is like Raven, where he just does random shit, and we're not sure why he's doing these things. He's just doing them, and other people just choosing to play by his. Oh no, it's Shane Douglas. Shane Douglas's favorite wrestler is Shane Douglas, and Shane Douglas is here.
Find out what the case is, and I doubt that you have the upper hand.
Well, you know, Gene, in this life, in this sport, there are a few guarantees. There are a few things that you can chuck down and say, you know, at the end of the night, things will be exactly as you guarantee them to be or expect them to be. You've known me for a long time, Gene. I've made few guarantees in this sport, but I will make this guarantee. Buff Bagwell, you are a great wrestler, but you're not greater than a franchise. Buff Bagwell, tonight you and I will enter that ring and
I don't even want to hear no more. I gotta listen to Buff Bagwell versus Shane Douglas. Oh, not only is Buff on the show, but Buff is wrestling. You didn't spoke him up. God damn it. God damn. Son of a bitch. God damn. B. Goldberg's guest manager. Isn't he a heel at this point? Why would you want to be the guest manager for heel Bill Goldberg? I don't want to be the guest manager of heel Bill Goldberg. I'm Buff and I'm on the stuff. I'm Buff and I'm smoking stuff. Noted male stripper Buff Bagwell. This sucks. I like Shane Douglas, but I don't want to watch him wrestle Buff Bagwell, man. I don't want to watch Buff Bagwell wrestle anybody. Is this post broken neck Buff Bagwell? I think he broke his neck in like 99 or something like that. This is the shits. You said Buff might be one of the most useless wrestlers ever next to Juice Robinson. I agree. Buff is good at nothing. He's not a great promo. He's not a good wrestler. He has a generic steroid look. Just nothing really good about Buff Bagwell. He's just present, you know. He's the shits, man. And guess what? He was there for such a long time. Buff Bagwell was in WCW in 1992. He was in WCW for 10 years. And he didn't seem and never get anywhere. He was one of the few guys that have been there the entire WCW run. I think they signed him when he was very young. I think he was like in his early 20s. And I'm pretty sure he was there in 91 and he was still there in 2001, if I remember correctly. Because he was Marcus Alexander Bagwell at first. Of course, he was in Stars and Stripes. He's also in that tag team with Too Cold Scorpio. And I think these two used to be tag team partners as well. He was a tag team guy for a long time. And then he became Buff Bagwell when he joined the NWO. But he was terrible as Buff Bagwell. It was not good. Shane Douglas being new blood in 2000 after being washed for 4 years. Shane Douglas is like in his mid-30s at this point, man. I guess he was new blood because he was new, but he was in WCW in the early 90s. He was in WCW like 91. Shane Douglas had been around for a really long time, and he was still new blood. I guess they just wanted to try to use his feud with Flair, but nobody really cared about that on a major scale. I still laugh every time I think about the fact that Shane Douglas was supposed to be with Benoit and Malenko and all them when they jumped ship, and they all just kind of like forgot about him. They just kind of like, yeah, Wasn't Shane supposed to be with us? Yeah, but and then they just left him. You say you did like the later pay-per-view names, like Sin. Nah, nah, like I don't like that. It's kind of generic, actually. If it had fit like a theme or something, maybe I would have liked it. Oh, they just turned the mats over. I just now noticed that because there's still icing on the mats. They just turned them over. Oh shit. Good shit, bro. Stomping grounds. Great balls of fire. Great balls of fire. Good Lord. You knew Vince was old when he named the show Great Balls of Fire. But that show stands out because of that name. Just like Day One stands out because of the name. Wasn't Stomping Grounds the only Stomping Grounds? I think Stomping Grounds 2019 might be one of the worst shows ever. I know it was very sparsely attended. It was a really bad show. I'm pretty sure there was a reason for that too. They might have been running a lot of shows at one time. The greatest Royal Rumble. It had Roman. Is that when he had the steel cage match with Braun Strowman? Yeah, I don't like Buff Bagwell. His offense looks like shit too. I did like his finisher. He did have a pretty cool finisher. The Blockbuster is a cool finisher. If I was a wrestler, I'd have stole Buff Bagwell's finisher, but I wouldn't have stolen anything else from him. That was the best thing about him was his finish. Oh shit. Buff is a very useless wrestler. Now that you didn't put it on my mind, I can't think of any real use for him. He's not a good manager. He reminds me a lot of Jason and ECW. They're almost exactly the same character and both equally useless. He said Day One was basically a bloodline themed pay-per-view like Rock Bottom and Degeneration X. That's a good call. Fiend versus Seth Hood classic. Everybody hate those matches. That made me dislike Seth Rollins so much. I don't understand how you couldn't work with the Fiend. Like, that shit pissed me off. But that's when they started being a little too theatrical with the Fiend. And that started affecting his matches. Same thing happened with Randy. Could let him work and they might have been fine, but then they had to go all, being too silly. And the logo for Stomping Grounds was boring as shit too. It was like a gigantic boot. Like, what the hell was wrong with these people? What the hell are these people thinking? Hey, it's Tori Wilson. How you doing, honey? And she's just going to get in the ring? I mean, is that what we got going on here? Oh, she popped him. She popped him one. Look at what Buff Bagwell is doing in this ring and tell me this guy's a good wrestler that you should pay money to. He should be paying you rent to be in the ring. He's that bad. Stomping Grounds poster. It was a shit poster that was. A lot of things about Stomping Grounds was very bad. I've never seen that show since it aired, though. I have not watched that show since it aired. It has a terrible reputation for being like a very poorly attended show. I can't tell you like off the rip that the show was really bad because I don't remember. It's just our memory hold it. It's It's just one of those kind of shows. Is this important to do right now? To kiss your girl right now? Just for her to kick you in the balls? Is that really important to do right now? Heel turns, like, for the girls now, after she just smacked Shane Douglas. That's the Pittsburgh plunge. And he kicked out of it, though. This is stupid. In this match, you said, didn't they do a Temu Starrcade that year? Yeah, that's one of the years where they did like a Starrcade house show and put it on the network. I think they did a Smackville that year too, didn't they? They did Smackville or something like that. Or was that afterwards? I think Smackville is when Kofi was the champion. That might have been 2021, I want to say. But yeah, they did a couple of bootleg Starrcades. Oh yeah, it was 2019. Okay, I got you. Becky Lynch was the star of the show at that point. She was the star of the company in 2019. She was really bad at it too. That's when they was doing the man's man. That shit was terrible. I was actually very excited that he lost the belt to Brock in 5 seconds. That ruled. It's unique. I don't know how you could have a storyline where he fights Brock for 15 minutes and then loses. I don't think that makes sense. I don't think he should have beat Samoa Joe. I think he should have lost the belt to Samoa Joe, to be quite honest. He said Tori Wilson turned on Kidman for no reason to get with Shane Douglas randomly was egregious booking malpractice. This is Russo. This guy doesn't know how to sculpt the story. All he knows how to do is throw shit at the wall. And some of it works and some of it doesn't. The man's man shirt completely emasculated that dude, and he was done for at that point. Okay, we got more Jarrett, for Christ's sake.
What? Short with you. Hogan's here. Big deal. Plan A now goes into effect. You know, over the years, Hulk sure has made a lot of enemies. So tonight, allies are hard to find. Wait a minute, Jeff Jarrett. What do you mean by that? Usual suspect. Wait and see. Now choke on that, Slappy. All right, but what a history between Jeff Jarrett and Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Who the fuck told Jeff Jarrett he should be wrestling Hulk Hogan? I don't get it. Who told him that? And who told him also to call people Slappy all the time? None of that was good. The downgrade? Oh, NXT 2.0 rules. You gotta, nah, you're gonna have to, I reject your deposit. Hey, the Kofi versus Dolph Ziggler matches were good. They were not put in the storyline was also quite good. But everything else, trash. Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin, oh my God. I like Lacey Evans, but that thing with Becky Lynch didn't work. It just didn't work. They were in the doldrums in 2019. They was trying to do something new in 2019. They gave the people what they wanted. They wanted Becky Lynch. They gave her Becky Lynch. They wanted Kofi Kingston. They gave him Kofi Kingston. And then it ended up being one of the worst years in creative history. I don't know. If Black and Gold era NXT was the highlight of NXT, none of the stars became stars. But look at all the people from NXT 2.0 who are stars today. So I reject your deposit. That was in 2018 when Bryan won the title, and he carried it into 2019. He was very good. Then he gave it to Kofi, and Kofi was mid. They gave him Dolph in a long feud just to have good matches. And then they kind of, the Samoa Joe stuff is kind of like, all right, he should have lost the belt to Samoa Joe. Yes, I would rather watch all the new booties and NXT 2.0 than watch Johnny Gargano. I don't. I disagree. Only 2 people became stars. Do you realize Gunther is there? He's the world champion right now. Then you have Carmelo Hayes. He became a star from NXT 2.0. And you have Tiffany Stratton. That's 3 right there. Ilya Dragunov. Well, he didn't become a main roster star because he got hurt shortly after he got called up. When you compare that to most of the people in NXT Black and Gold are in AEW right now, and most of them look sick. Almost all of them look sick or dying. Adam Cole is barely alive. I mean, somebody needs to give Kyle O'Reilly a blood transfusion. Roderick Strong exists, and I don't know why. Look at all those bums. Even somebody who's a short shot, like what's his name? Keith Lee is sitting on the bench in AEW. The only person from NXT Black and Gold that became anything is Damian Priest. Even Finn Balor didn't become nothing. You know, so it's like, man, it's a waste of time. Waste of everybody's time. DIY can't even get over as a tag team. Yeah, they're cooked. They're very cooked. And Triple H is pushing them hard, all of them. Pushing them super hard, and it's not working. Nobody cares. Nobody likes these people. Jeff Jarrett being the top heel in WCW with a roster filled with Goldberg, Nash, Hogan, Booker T, Steiner, DDP. WCW is begging for a mercy killing. This is the patronage system. Russo only putting the belt on people that he liked and his friends. He was friends with Jarrett, so he put the belt on Jarrett and didn't give a shit about TV ratings and didn't care about pay-per-view buys and didn't think about anything beyond simple business. Nobody in their right mind would have the belt on Jarrett this long, let alone put the belt on Jarrett so many times. Okay, you want to put the belt on Jarrett as an experiment? Fine. But to run off Hulk Hogan because you want to try to make Jeff Jarrett a star is retarded. And I'm not even saying that Hogan should have been champion around this time or anything like that. Just that you're fighting for Jeff Jarrett. That's my question. That's my issue here. You're not fighting for the next Goldberg. You know, you're not fighting because Hogan is in the way of your next gigantic star. You're fighting for Jeff Jarrett, who could easily just be the United States champion and nobody would notice. Yeah, Tony D'Angelo is being crippled by Triple H booking. He's not being given a chance. Tiffany and Brana were the only 2 kids that became stars. Well, so far, let's be honest. So far, because what you had with Black and Gold NXT is a bunch of people, none of whom became a bigger star than Bianca Belair, and it wasn't because of Triple H. Because if it was up to Triple H, we still be watching Shayna Baszler matches. Heavens to Betsy. Vince saw somebody with some charisma and some talent and said, "Why the fuck are we not pushing her? Why are you pushing this old washed up MMA broad and all these small Japanese women?" There's no way in hell I'm watching Black and Gold NXT, bro. It's not happening. Vince tried with Riddle and he sabotaged himself. Poor Jarrett. His retirement tour was the shits. Is that Ronda Rousey everyone talking about, pal? I don't know, man. Look at the chin on that guy. We went through all this shit to get Jarrett here. Now he's got the boo-boo face. All night. He's been, I'm looking for Hulk Hogan. Now he's got the boo-boo face. Broke 10,000 guitars. Never drew a dime. Mike Graham from beyond the grave. Even though he was alive when he made that comment, clearly. But that's the most famous words I ever heard Mike Graham say in my life. Oh, look at this dumb shit here. Double J is top 50 in all times of tournament report. Well, I guess because he did create TNA. I guess in terms of starting TNA, which has been around for almost 30 years, I guess. It's been around for 23 years, TNA has. And it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for his WWF run. How many more fucking Ciampa versus Gargano matches can you possibly watch, bro? I don't know, man. They were still doing that shit in 2020. Von Wagner is terrible, though. Who thought this was a good idea, man? Everybody's like, yay, I guess. What's happening here? And Jarrett's like he's about to cry. What the fuck? What do you do? Like, if you're anybody else in the back, what do you do for all this shit? I would love to get that perspective. What if you're, I don't know, Buff Bagwell and you're backstage and this shit just happened? What do? Do you walk up to Jeff like, what's going on? You know, like, what's happening? Like, why is this going on? What's happening here? There is no reason for this to occur. It's, quite frankly, very stupid. I forgot about this guy. I forgot what his name is, too. The big bald guy right here. The guy talking in the red Hawaiian shirt. What is the point of this shit? Oh, Vampiro's here. Okay, well, great. He just walked right past Hulk Hogan, and Hogan's walking out, and he's pissed. Okay, what's this? What's going on here? I don't understand why everybody has to be confused. I'm not sure confusion is the right thing you want people to feel about what's going on with the show. And now Vampiro's coming to the ring. They had a fatal 4-way match that went a full hour, man. Fuck NXT Black and Gold. That show sucked ass. They got their ass kicked by Dynamite. They suck. And I'm not talking about Dynamite when it was actually good either. I'm talking about Dynamite where Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss was on the show, whooping their ass every week. What the fuck? Nobody was even watching that stuff. People was barely watching it in the first place. It's just indie guys like indie wrestlers. That's what the Black and Gold shit was all about. That match was terrible. That's the turning point where you can't get me to watch NXT anymore at that point. What about this Dark Circle now? Yeah, we do want Sting. I don't know if we want Sting in this situation, but we do kind of want Sting. Nah, man. Triple H just started finding his own little team of guys, and they suck. They suck ass, man. We wouldn't have got none of the fun shit we got in 2.0 or none of the fun stuff we got now if Triple H would allow it to continue booking. It would just be more Gargano and Ciampa bullshit. More fucking Finn Balor stuff. Enough of these fucking guys, man. It was 3 or 4 years of that shit. Oh, we gotta have our own Undertaker now because Vince Russo can't think of any other ideas. So now I guess we want to have an Undertaker because everybody has to have an Undertaker, right? This better be Sting. If it's not Sting, people are going to be very upset. If this is not Sting, it's going to be very disappointing. Oh shit, it is Sting. Probably a Sting impersonator. Oh shit. No, it is Sting. He didn't get the pop. Maybe because people can't fucking see the guy. Is this Sting? That's not Sting's music at all. Nobody can fucking see because they're flickering the lights. They ruined their whole shit. They didn't even turn the lights on. So now we don't have no idea what the fuck just happened. But they missed their pop. They turned the lights on. Everybody would have seen it was Sting. They got a huge pop for this thing. He could have beat him up with the bat, put him in the goddamn thing, and the pop will be dying down just about right now. But they ruined their pop. Lucha del Stanger. El Hijo del Stang. Sting Jr. Hey, it's Bill Goldberg. What a stupid feud this is. Why is Goldberg the heel of this feud? Why does he have Scott Hall's contract?
I've ever been in my entire life. But the fact is, I want to make Kevin Nash suffer. I'm going to beat his ass from ring post to ring post and rip it up right in front of his face. Then, the outsiders, as everyone else knows, are history. Tonight, I personally end Scott Hall's career.
I personally end Scott Hall's career. Ooh. Oh my God. Vince Russo now is the main character on the show. Oh, good Lord. Vince Russo, the character. Why are you talking like that? This is TV. This is not Don Corleone talking. This is Al Pacino. Michael was the Don, by the way. Don't correct me. Who had this mark, like a total complete mark, put himself on TV, made him try to make himself a star and failed? What are they chanting at this guy? Oh, they chanting Russo sucks. He wanted to make himself the center of attention. Oh, Lord.
And quite frankly, I didn't know
But you're unimportant, so who gives a shit?
And the reason I didn't know I was back on that is because from day one, when I came to I've done nothing but people of the politics behind that person.
This unibrow having son of a bitch.
The fact of the matter is, I've got a wife, I've got 3 kids at home, and I really don't need this shit.
Do you think this promo, made one fan?
I came back for every one of the guys in that locker room that week in, week out, bust their ass for WCW.
He came back for the boys. That's why he made himself the star of the show.
For the Booker T. I came back for every single guy in MIA.
Those guys suck, though. MIA's trash. There's nobody in that group that's any good. He got WCW sued. Why did those guys need you?
I'm playing politics with Hulk Hogan because Hulk Hogan tonight wants to play his creative control card.
What does that mean?
That tonight in the middle of this ring, when he knew it was bullshit, he beat Jeff Jarrett.
Why are you telling people that your shit is a work on TV?
Hogan got his wish. But I sat out there with the people just like you. And I know you paid good money to come here tonight, and nobody is going to be ripped off here tonight.
This makes no fucking sense.
So Hulk Hogan now has the WCW belt. And Hulk, let's refer to that as the Hulk Hogan Memorial Belt, because from here on in, that belt don't mean shit.
He just came out here, started talking inside baseball, saying a bunch of weird shit, and now cussing.
There will be a new WCW belt. And as far as I'm concerned, that belt still belongs to the one guy that busts his ass week in and week out in the middle of this ring. And you people can love him and hate him, but he doesn't screw anybody back.
I'm going to create a new belt and give it to Jeff Jarrett. How can you do that? I just can. Explain what Ernest the Cat Miller's job is if you can do that. If you can just recreate world titles out of nowhere, then what the fuck is Ernest the Cat Miller doing? Why is he fighting to be the commissioner if you can just show up and create world titles out of your ass because you want to? Then what is the point of being the commissioner? Okay? What's the point of fighting over Scott Hall's contract if Vince Russo, out of his own ass cheeks, can pull out whatever he wants? The thing is, WWE still had like a hierarchy. When Vince could do whatever he wanted in his storylines and stuff, they still found ways to subvert Vince. You know, either holding him to his own word, putting him in a situation where he had to fight for himself, stuff like that. There would always be like these issues, but it would always be like Vince is the highest authority, and then he would get foisted upon his own petard or something like that. In this situation, why should we care about whatever Ernest the Cat Miller is talking about if Vince Russo can do whatever the fuck he wants to do? Then why do we have a commissioner? Why did you come out here to tell us that Hogan was going to beat Jeff Jarrett? Now you're telling us every match we just watched is fake, and we shouldn't invest in any of it because it's all bullshit. And then you got Hall, Nash, and Goldberg. They still haven't done their thing yet. So none of this stuff matters. Why did you make yourself the center of the show if you're there to help everybody else? Then why are you the star of the show? Why do you get to cut this promo? Why wouldn't you have Jarrett cut this promo? Why? And then you couldn't have turned it into a work where Jarrett is frustrated he even has to wrestle Hulk Hogan, and he says, I don't want to wrestle Hulk Hogan, I don't want anything to do with Hulk Hogan. You could have instantly turned this into a work that made sense by getting Ernest the Cat Miller and Jeff Jarrett to have a conversation about it. That's all you had to do. Ernest the Cat Miller is the commissioner. All you had to do was say Ernest the Cat Miller is invalidating Hulk Hogan's finish because Jarrett laid down in the middle of the ring and he didn't really win. It's bullshit. Hogan has to come back and wrestle Jeff Jarrett in this match, in this ring right now, or the title's going to revert back to Jeff Jarrett. Do a 10 count. Jarrett still in the ring. Hogan never comes back because he literally is gone. And now you give the belt back to Jeff Jarrett. That's all you really had to do. Why you have to go through all this? And he buried everybody. He buried the company. He buried Jarrett. He buried Hogan. And he pissed in front of the fans. What's the point? This is stupid. Really stupid show. Yeah, he's doing all this childish cussing and pacing back and forth. You said honestly pretty salvageable up until the Hogan Jarrett fiasco and the Russo promo. Yeah, if you're going to do something where you're going to invalidate, for starters, if you create a hierarchy, if you tell me all night Ernest the Cat Miller can make rules and he can call off matches and do whatever he wants, there has to be a good reason why he's not the one making the decision in this case. Okay? There is no good reason. Steiner don't give a fuck about Scott Hall. You could have saved that thing, but he wanted to be the star of the show, you know? And then also, you probably should have changed Jarrett. Instead of Jarrett looking for Hogan all night, you should have had Jarrett be pensive backstage and frustrated or whatever. And then you could have done something else. Or you could have done something even more dubious. And you could have had somebody hit Jarrett in the back of the head with a guitar. I mean, you just had Booker T hit Jeff Jarrett, right? I mean, Jeff Jarrett hit Booker T, right? Why not have Booker T come back and hit Jarrett with the guitar? Then Hogan pins Jarrett. And then Ernest the Cat Miller comes back after Hogan leaves. Jarrett whines to Ernest the Cat Miller about Booker T. And then Ernest the Cat Miller says, well, you're right. Booker T cheated. He's stripped of the world title. And if Hogan doesn't come back with the title, then I'm going to give the belt back to Jeff Jarrett. And then Hogan never comes back because he didn't hear about this. Ernest the Cat Miller strips Hogan of the title, gives it back to Jarrett, and then Booker T talks himself into a title match where he beats Jeff Jarrett. I mean, you could have done something slick like this. This guy's stupid. And I didn't even change anything that he did. All I did was take Vince Russo himself out of the story and put Ernest the Cat Miller, who you wanted to be the commissioner, put him in the story and switched around what happened. You already did some stuff with Jarrett earlier where Jarrett cost Booker T a match for no good reason. Right. Put himself on TV. I had to be on TV, bro. I was just too good backstage, bro. I just had to be on TV. Can somebody explain to me why there's only one copy of Scott Hall's contract? I work with emails, bro. They had emails back in 2000. If Goldberg tore that piece of paper up, they just print another one. So explain to me what's happening here. Did Vince Russo think this thing all the way through? Probably not. You don't need the literal contract. You could just put a stipulation in the situation where if Goldberg wins, Scott Hall is fired from WCW. You didn't need a literal contract. He said Google started in like 98, right? Like you already had AOL, it had search engines. It wasn't, I don't think it was widely used in 98. But they had emails. And you can absolutely just print up a whole new contract. I mean, bro, come on. They have file cabinets where they have multiple copies of these things, right? It's probably on a floppy disk somewhere. He said y'all had to deal with dial-up. We did. It was shit. I didn't have internet. I didn't get the internet until I went to Job Corps. And I didn't really have internet until I got a cell phone. Because I never got a computer. I didn't get a computer until like 2010, maybe. I never needed a computer. I never got one for college either. I always used the libraries. Goldberg literally ate a copy of Scott Hall's contract two weeks on Nitro. So he ate the contract already. He just ate one page of it, bro. You got to eat the whole thing. These people are stupid, man. These people are stupid. Everybody saw Jeff Jarrett get pinned. So how is Jeff Jarrett still the champion? He's so retarded. Do you have a Circuit City or Radio? I guess you mean Radio Shack. There's a Radio Shack in this area. There's not a Circuit City. Circuit City is gone. There's one Radio Shack I know where that is still open. At least I think it's still open. I haven't been there in years. I used to get remote control cars from Radio Shack. That's all I ever wanted from Radio Shack was a remote control car. I remember getting a couple of them for Christmas once. I was very excited. And then the batteries died, and I didn't know what to do with it. So I started putting like wrestlers in there and shit and riding them around with my hand. Never got those batteries again. He says, good question. Mom, did you ever finish high school since you went to college? I did not. I went and got a GED. I got a GED from Job Corps. I never finished high school. That was a shitty choke slam. Why is Steiner out here now? Oh, yeah, he did. He did tell me to do that. I'm guessing Steiner's about to turn heel now, right? That's a pretty stiff clothesline you got. I mean, lock you got there. Steiner went from not giving a fuck to coming out here clapping. I figured that's why he had come out here. Because they went from discussing this, how he really didn't give a shit, to now he's out here clapping and being very fake. This is not Scott Steiner anyway. It's pretty obvious with the heel turn coming. You know, you don't need to have a heel turn in every match. So, timestamp 2 hours, 26 minutes, and 5 seconds. Oh. The crowd is actually into this stuff. They actually care about this story. And they're going to have to fuck it up with run-ins. It's Vince Russo booking. I think every match on this show except one has had a run-in. I think that Chronic match might be the only match that didn't have a run-in so far. He said, what are your thoughts on Goldberg talking about his retirement match and everyone from Rosenberg to LaGreca and others hating? I think he sounded a little bit ungrateful for what happened. I think we should probably look into who it was that cut off his retirement speech, and I do understand why that might be frustrating. But we don't know if that was a WWE call or whether that was an NBC call. Because it might have been NBC. I don't know. Oh, that was a shitty jackhammer. Everybody who's upset with Goldberg, though, I mean, I get it. There was no drama to this. We've been watching heel turns all night, bro. It's just been nothing but heel turns all fucking night. Then why is Steiner on the side of Goldberg? Can somebody explain this to me? Are you interested or have interest in watching WWE Unreal? Nope. I'm probably not going to watch it at all. I may watch clips of it, but I'm not going to watch it at all. Vince Russo, because he doesn't understand characters. He talks a whole hell of a lot about characters and stories and shit. Otherwise, he really don't know about that stuff. He just says what people want to hear. This match was short, and then the heel won, and there's a new heel alliance, but there's no reason for this. And then we've been watching heel turns all night. If you knew you were going to do this, you shouldn't have turned a bunch of other people heel earlier.
All right, Tony, we are back. This is perhaps one of the most important I have ever experienced in World Championship Wrestling.
He said you thought Beyond the Mat was good, but Unreal is just big nose glaze. I have no interest in this. I did see that they're doing stuff backstage. He said all Goldberg wanted was a retirement match in Israel. They're not going to be in Israel, so forget it. They did it as best they could. They did it in Atlanta, which is good. Tiny hat. They're not going to Israel. They've never been to Israel, as far as I know. They've never been to the land of the tiny hats. He said, I think of Goldberg, I don't think of Israel. Well, I knew he was Jewish, but I didn't think of Israel either. I heard that AJ Styles would be at Slammiversary, but it hasn't been initially announced. So we'll see. I know they did make a comment, and Trick Williams did challenge AJ Styles. I'm thinking if they were going to do that, it would be like Bound for Glory. They would probably do it. And that's in October. It's only July. They got 3 months. But it would be cool if Trick Williams wrestled AJ Styles in the main event of Bound for Glory for the TNA World Title. That would be great, wouldn't it? Of course, AJ will have to win it. Hey, as much as I love me some Booker T, I don't understand how this match happened. We're going to give the match to Booker T, who just lost earlier, by the way, and didn't even mention that he lost earlier, and then did not mention that he lost because of Jeff Jarrett earlier. So that's unfortunate for you, brother. He is going to be at Slammiversary. They just showed the promo with the glove. Oh, baby, I'm interested now. Hell, he might cost Trick Williams the title at this point. I love me some Trick Willie. I can't wait to see that shit gonna turn out. Wait, how do you say the title is vacant when he clearly has the belt? He laid down for Hogan, but this one is for real. How was the other one not for real? This is what I mean, though. I will give Vince Russo credit. He swerved everybody and delivered something that was beyond what they saw on the card. Like if you look at if you were watching the weekly show and you looked at the card, he delivered something beyond what was on the card and created an event that people talked about 25 years later. Like there's been hundreds of wrestling shows, hundreds of thousands of wrestling shows. And this one is one of the most notorious wrestling shows of all time for all the wrong reasons. But it is. He created something memorable. And this is something that wrestling doesn't do anymore. Wrestling does not create memorable shows anymore. People try to meme shows into being memorable. Like they're trying to meme All In into being some kind of all-time wrestling show. Right? And they're going to try to meme Evolution into being like some kind of all-time wrestling show. But real all-time wrestling shows they just come across as being kind of natural. You know? Like everybody's seen that. Everybody's heard about it. Bash at the Beach is something everybody who is a wrestling fan has watched for one reason or another. Either because you were genuinely into what they were doing, or you are one of the thousands of podcasts like this one that are caught up in all the backstage drama of what happened. And that takes a certain level, like to fuck up on this stage at this point in time was such a monumental deal. It can never be duplicated. Nobody's ever going to be this dumb with this much power ever again. And I think that AEW has a couple of iconic shows. You know, the first All In, not the very first one, the first AEW All In at Wembley, because CM Punk got fired shortly after that show. But yeah, first All In, CM Punk's Last Dance when he first showed up in Chicago. I think those are shows that are must-see shows that are in the canon of pro wrestling. And Vince Russo often had show. Well, not I wouldn't say often, but he did have one with the Bash at the Beach show. He crowned a new world champion, but he completely turned wrestling upside down. He went out there and told everybody this shit was fake and it wasn't real and nobody cares about this. And Hogan is a politicker. And everybody's just enamored with it. They're still making documentaries and talking about it. It's hard to say that the show was a complete failure. This show continues to make WWE and Vice and everybody else money. Like saying 97 I think the All Out pay-per-view from 2021 with Bryan and Adam Cole making their debut as an all-time AEW pay-per-view. I would disagree because they made their debut at the end of the show and they didn't do anything. They just appeared. They didn't really do anything. I think the first Arthur Ashe show is a pretty legendary AEW show because it had Omega and Danielson and they wrestled for like the first hour of the show. I think that was pretty damn cool. And I think by definition, the first Dynamite has to be a canon show because it created something new and they were doing something different there. But I think that a lot of AEW shows, I think maybe even the first Forbidden Door show might be something too. But a lot of the AEW shows have just been bullshit. Even those shows might not be something special. You mean you said All Out 2018? You mean All In 2018? Because that would be a classic show. All In 2018 is a classic show because That was the show that made everybody understand that there was a sizable audience for the indies. And somehow, Ring of Honor, who was not able to sell 10,000 seats, was able to sell 10,000 seats through the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes, which is weird because they had been wrestling in Ring of Honor forever and never sold that many tickets. they were in Ring of Honor all that time and never sold that many tickets. And then they started running their own show just by taking the Ring of Honor name off of it. They even used the same camera crew. And they just took the Ring of Honor name off of it and sold 10,000 seats. Yeah, that's absolutely a great show. And I don't mean a great, I haven't watched it since it aired, but it's absolutely a classic show. For what it did for wrestling, it's a classic show. It's part of the AEW canon now because they bought Ring of Honor. Now they own that show. So it's part of the AEW's origin story. Will Pence is a very talented young man. Rey Mysterio was on that fucking show, man. But they still talk about that first All In. They was just talking to Deonna Purrazzo about it because they said she was supposed to be on that show, but then she decided to sign with WWE and she ended up walking away like a year or so later. Ooh, Power Driver. Yes, Jesus Christ. Just didn't even fucking break. Yeah, they did. They did have a lot of help, but they still managed to get it done, which is incredibly impressive. And then Ring of Honor could have also worked with a lot of those other shows. The only thing is they weren't going to work with TNA because they were in competition with TNA, and they still had like LAX and stuff on the All In show that they wouldn't have been on a Ring of Honor show. But AAA and stuff like that, AEW, Ring of Honor was working with them and had been working with them and had access to those guys, and they would have been thrilled to be able to work in the United States. If I remember correctly, no, I might have been wrong. I might be wrong in saying this, but I think didn't Ring of Honor work Madison Square Garden before All In? I'm pretty sure they did, right? AEW Revolution 2021. I don't even remember that show. So was that when Sting retired? Or was that no, Sting retired last year at Revolution. So I don't even remember what happened at Revolution 21. It was Cody. Cody had the idea for All In, but he got it from a challenge that Dave Meltzer had made. Dave Meltzer said that he was asked a question about whether Ring of Honor could sell 10,000 seats. Meltzer said no, and Cody said that they could give them some time and let them promote the show and book the show, and they could sell 10,000 seats, and they did it. And that was basically the proof of concept for AEW. I don't give a fuck what Tony Khan tells you about some guy he ran into in a hotel lobby. He would not have dumped so much money into a wrestling show if it wasn't for All In 2018. I don't know why he just can't tell the fucking truth. Those guys succeeding and drawing 10,000 seats at that show is the reason why he invested in them. Is it a surprise that every single one of those fucking guys ended up in AEW with EVP spots? No, it's not a just yes. This is what happened. Tony Khan's got money. These guys had the momentum, and he decided to just jump on and invest. That's fine. I think that's a smart move. Oh, that barbed wire death match was the shit. That's the one that backfired. Poor Eddie Kingston. Poor Eddie Kingston. Double or Nothing 2019 is the very first AEW pay-per-view, right? So yeah, that's a good one. But pay-per-views can be legendary for both good and bad reasons. And I think that the Bash at the Beach became a legendary pay-per-view for all the wrong reasons. But they tried to give you a happy ending with a guy who worked his way up from the bottom, was in WCW in 1992, becoming world champion. I wish they had not pinned him earlier, but they are doing what they do, which is weird. Just being weird. Being Vince Russo. Cody versus Dustin was the best AEW match of all time. It's certainly one of them. I would argue the only competition it really has is the very first Omega Danielson match. I think that match outside of Cody and Dustin is probably the best AEW match of all time. The magnitude of it, the venue, the energy behind it, the energy around it. Yeah. Danielson and Omega the very first time is magic. And then the only problem I had with it is that Tony rushed right into it. I mean, he did it immediately. Rather than, build into it and making people wait for it. He did it immediately. But he was living in the moment when it comes to that kind of shit. And then also because of the finish, he just did it on TV. Because of the finish he wanted to do. But that guy basically took something that could have been the main event of their major show and put it on TV. And I don't even think it did a strong number on TV. But it did a strong number in the building. It got like 20,000 people in the building or something like that. So it drew. I don't know if people watched it. I'm pretty sure more people have watched it since then. Wait a minute. What did you just say? You said the days of pay-per-views ending like the shits and disaster like Hell in a Cell 2019 or Crown Jewel 2020 ain't going to happen in a long time in WWE. Brother man, did you just not see WrestleMania this very fucking year? And they had what was that? AEW Revolution. There has been some very bad wrestling finishes. I think 2019 and 2020, that late stage events gets a lot of credit for being really poorly put together. But there's been some really bad shows that finish on a shit note ever since then. Well, if I started talking about Kenny Omega matches and no selling, I wouldn't like any of them. And the fact of the matter is, I think that he's a very highly athletic individual. I just don't think that he's the greatest wrestler of all time. I don't. I don't think none of his matches are 5 stars. I don't think none of them are 6 stars. But he has great matches. With Okada and Tanahashi, and I think he has some really good matches. I'm not a liar. But I don't think no match is perfect. And I'd be hard pressed to find a match that's 6 stars, 5 stars, beyond perfect. Get the fuck out of here. That's when I know that him and Dave Meltzer are sleeping on 2 different sides of the same bed. One of them is on his side, the other one's on her side. Damn, that referee came in. Slick Johnson came in and started counting fast. He fast counted the shit out of Jarrett, bro. No, WrestleMania 41 was next levels of bad, bro. When Travis Scott came out there, that ruined that whole fucking show. And that show was not bad. It was not a bad show. But then that Travis Scott thing happened. Yeah, this was a terrible show. The thing is, this show is only known for two things. One, Jarrett laying down, and two, Booker T winning the title. Nobody's gonna walk away from this thinking, "Oh man, that Buff Bagwell match, that was great. What a great match that was." No, nobody's gonna be like, "Man, I loved Chronic, bro. They were so good." No, I ain't doing none of that. I ain't doing none of that. Holy hell. I think people forget sometimes classics can be good and bad. Some things can be very bad, that they're biblically bad to the point where you never get, like December to Dismember was a show that was so bad that most people who talk about how bad it was have seen it. Like, it was so bad, most people want to see how bad it is. They must have been running out of time. That's the only reason I would have think that Slick Johnson would have came in there so fast and counted them out so fast. That was a fast fucking count. It don't even matter, bro. All right, Bash at the Beach 2000. A shitter of a show, but a classic nonetheless. A classic for all the wrong reasons, because there were so many documentaries that spanned out of this thing. So much money made for other people. It might be one of the reasons why WCW ended up going out of business, though. A classic shitter. Next level bad. Unfortunate for these guys, though, I must say. All right, I got to use the bathroom. Now, I'm not going to say this is better than WrestleMania 41. That's just nonsense. WrestleMania 41 still had the women's triple threat match that was amazing. Dominic Mysterio winning the Intercontinental title, which was great. Phoenix and El Grande Americano, which I liked, even though the finish was not my favorite. I'm pretty sure there's more, but I can't really think of it. The main event, Roman, Punk, and Seth was good, but Cena and Cody shit in the bed basically fucked up the whole two-night event. I mean, not sticking the landing is one of the worst things you can do. Bash at the Beach at least stuck the landing. You might have been mad, but we got there. You know, we got there. We got the belt on Booker. That's what they wanted to do, and there's that. They stuck the landing, but it was a terrible show. All right, y'all. I got to get out of here. I'll see you guys over the weekend. We're probably going to talk about Superman, and we're going to talk about clips, and I'm going to try to unblock some people. I'm going to go see what's going on. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out. Whoa. There we go.